Hey, welcome to the Prov'em Wrong show. This your boy. I'm in the building live in the studio on tonight. Listen, happy Black History Month. Today is February the 1st. This is the first day of Black History Month. Some folks forgot. You know, we put very little energy into Black History Month like we used to. But, this is the first day, February the 1st. We only get 28 days, people. Let's make the best out of it. You know what I'm saying? We get the shortest month of the year. This is Black History Month. What are you going to do to celebrate, to put the word out, to communicate the importance of Black history? And we're making history every day, whether you believe it or not. And but some folk want to change history. We'll get into that a little bit later. But I was reminded this morning, listen to the Steve Harvey Morning Show, nephew Tommy, with his phone pranks, did a Black History Month phone prank that was hilarious. So that reminded me today was February the 1st, beginning of Black History Month. And so listen, let's not forget the sacrifices that went in by our forefathers, those that have gone ahead of us. But just like them, let's live our lives in such a way that when we're gone, folks are going to still talk about our contributions. Now, if you're not contributing, you know, what are you going to give folks to talk about? We're giving right now as black folk, we're giving a lot of negativity for folks in the future to talk about. Some folks in the future might say, woo, I'm glad I wasn't there. You know, some folks, and that's crazy because if you go all the way back to when Black history began in America, some of us will say, I'm glad I wasn't there when slaves were brought over on ships. They weren't crossing the border like we see now. They wasn't coming on their own fruition, you know. They wasn't walking miles and crossing rivers and through barbed wire like we're seeing today. Asylum seekers coming across the borders to get to America now. No. It wasn't like that. Folks was brought over. We were brought over in chains, stacked in cargo ships, chained to each other, in feces, defecating all over the place. Half the cargo died. And the ones that did made it, we know how they were treated. But today's folks are walking for miles and miles, and they're trying to get away from their harsh reality and coming to the land of opportunity. And we who have been here, even though we got here in chains and ships, and we've been here for a good while now, what are we doing with the opportunity? And so this is the Prov'em Wrong show. We're going to talk a little bit about that on tonight and see where this leads us. Give us a call if you're interested, and I hope you do. Give us a call in 1-800-492-5186. That's the live number, and we will put you on the air live to give us your opinion on what's happening. And so I always start the show off with a little bit of current events. So on last week, I got the privilege of attending the Clergy Police Academy at the police department, at the police training facility. And it was a great week, eye-opening. I enjoyed it immensely, met a lot of wonderful people at the Police Clergy Academy, did a ride-along on Friday evening. Some of us did them on Friday night. Did the gun range on Saturday, so I want to thank Chief Wade and his staff, Captain Vance and the training academy staff, and all that had a part in that. You know, we want to also give a heartfelt shout out prayer to Officer Wells. She was one of our training officers on that week. She couldn't finish the week because she was involved in a car accident. Police chase. The suspect running from the police ran and T-boned her, and she ended up in the hospital. And our prayers go out to her. Hope she's healing well. She was hurt very bad. And so we hope she's mending well. And so if she hears this, sees this, or anybody knows Officer Wells, tell her that Mr. G, Vince Gordon, Pastor Gordon from New Horizon and Young Life gave her a shout out on the air. And so, listen, we're starting the show talking about current events. Also, we had I saw on the news tonight that there's money being given out, grant money to restore historical churches in the black community. And one in particular was United Methodist Church, downtown Jackson. Congratulations on receiving that grant to restoring the building. And then the other one, and that's on downtown on Ferris Street, I believe. That church on Ferris Street also got some money. And so congratulations, church in Natchez, Mississippi, one of the oldest churches that has a historic landmark in front of it, got some money. I think they said 30 churches around the country, historic black churches, got some of this grant money to do some renovations and preserve their building. What we don't want to see is a whole lot of new churches popping up in these storefronts that's being abandoned. Why do I say that? We got enough churches, y'all, in this city. I think what we need to learn how to do is work together. I think pastors need to learn how to work together to beautify this city, put their resources together. I think if we get rid of the egos, we can learn to work together. And so that was one of the things in the clergy academy that came out. A lot of folks just walking around with egos. They want to get credit for whatever they do. It's not about getting credit. What happened to the old saying that I don't care who gets the credit long as God gets the glory? That's like out the window now. That's like cliche. We need to make that a reality and put things into practice to help our communities, y'all. We got churches everywhere, but crime is still running rampant. And so one of the things we talked about at the academy is if we were going to make a brand new city from scratch, what will we have in our brand new city? What would you like? And we just dreaming. What would you like in your brand new city? And we talked about beautiful parks. We talked about youth recreation, youth entertainment, adult entertainment, a safe city, and a host of other things, infrastructure, pothole-free streets, and community policing, crime-free. So we were kind of building a utopia. But one of the things I said, we need to limit the number of churches we put in this brand new city. And why do I say that, being a man of God? Because I'm seeing the reality, y'all. I'm seeing the reality. Any empty building somebody wants to put a church in, I think because people want to be the head honcho. They want to be the leader and not follow anybody. They want to amass their own wealth, build their own kingdom, and neglect God's kingdom. We pray all the time, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. And I say it again, we got too many pastors focusing on their own kingdom and not the kingdom of God. So let's do things different, y'all, in 2024. And so, but again, shout out to those churches that received this grant money, put it to good use. And then not only that, I want to challenge churches that have gyms, fellowship halls, classroom space. We got to get creative. We have to get creative. One of the things that I really love about the way Jesus did ministry, the one we serve, the one we pray to, the one we look to guidance to, that brother didn't have a church. He didn't have a building. So he was free to get out in the community and hang out with the marginalized, the oppressed, and the poor and the downtrodden. And so, but we've gotten comfortable being in that building. And it's a problem with that because the problems are out in the street. They're not in the building for the most part. And so I know, we can say, well, we need a place to congregate and worship. Really? What happened to back in the day under the tree or under the bridge? And so I think we just got to get outside the box and do things a whole lot different. And so, listen, I'm not trying to complain because like we talked about, my producer and I talked early on before the show started, why complain to folks that can't change anything? Complaining just to complain. We got to stop that too. Now, we have legislators, lawmakers, city council, Hinds County supervisors, representatives, senators, people we elect that we should complain to because they're in a position to make a difference. Now, if they're in a position to make a difference and they don't make a difference, vote them out. Vote them out. And so I say that because I was disturbed this evening watching the news and saw the governor is putting $5 million, I think it was, 5 or 50, but it was in the millions. I don't know how many millions to change the way history is taught in Mississippi public school. Now, this is the first day of Black History Month, and they're trying to change the way even Black history is taught, and Mississippi history. He says he wants to teach patriotism versus true history. So basically, you want to lie. You want to fund a lie, and you don't want to tell the truth. And so when folks don't know their history, they're destined to repeat it. So we're starting to see some of the same things. And so call me, talk to me, 1-800-492-5186. Tell me what you're thinking. And so, but I saw legislators going behind session. They said he wants them to fund this and vote on this. And there were some folks on the news tonight who agreed with the governor. I'm like, wow, so this is an uphill battle. And so talk to the folks that represent you, the representatives, and hopefully we have enough of them with enough sense to not fund a lie. We got enough stuff that need funding, not fund a lie, all right? Okay, so I guess enough of that. Call me, email me, vgordonyl@comcast.net. Because if I don't hear from you, it sounds like I'm just talking to the wind. But I'm gonna make my suggestions. I'm gonna make it known. I'm gonna put it out to the powers that be, because we got some other issues that's coming up. Number one, if you didn't see, today was the first day of a trial of a parent on trial for her son in the school shooting. Now they're gonna try the parents separately. So today the mother of the child in the school shooting was on the trial. She's on trial now. And she's on defense because her child went and shot up the school and the parents had knowledge that the child had mental issues, behavior issues. The parents had knowledge that the child had a gun. I believe the parents may have even bought the gun for the child, but the child went and shot up the school. And this is the first case where the parent is being tried. And I say, shout out, good. Now, let's learn a lesson from that, Jackson. The city council have just passed this curfew with our young folks. We see there's a spike in crime, violent crime all over the city the past week. And a lot of it has been attributed to youth. Youth violence, youth and young adult. Now, if they're an adult, they're going to be tried as an adult. But if they're a youth and they're still jacking folks, still breaking in houses, still shooting in occupied dwellings, still riding down the street, shooting at each other, innocent folks getting shot, Jackson has become the Wild Wild West once again. And this is February the 2nd, I believe, February the 1st. January had more murders in January 2024 than January 2023. And we can't police our way out of this, so we have to be creative. So I believe the leadership in Jackson needs to take a note of what this parent being on trial. So I say that to say, with this new curfew, it's still trying to iron out the nuts and the bolts of how it's going to happen. And one of the ideas that I heard, I thought it was a terrible idea. I'm not going to share that right now. We'll share it a little later because I hope it changes. And if it changes, then I'll share it. But I told one of the brothers, I said, man, don't fall for the okie doke. City of Jackson want to use your facility. But City of Jackson has a bad history of paying their bills. So why do you think they're going to pay you when they won't pay their own people? So don't enter into a contract. Rethink that, man. Rethink that. You put a lot of work and a lot of money into where you are. But we have all these empty schools right now. We have tons of empty schools and more to come. Now, when you pick these young people up in the curfew violation, take them to one of these empty schools. In South Jackson, there's Whitten Middle School, and there's several others. I'm not going to try to go down and remember the list of schools, McLeod, but use those schools. Put an officer there, put some social workers at the school. When the police officers pick them up, drop them off at the school, they go inside, they meet with the counselors, or they do whatever they got to do, and the parents are contacted. If parents don't show up and pay that fine, then you hold the parents accountable. You hold the parents accountable because they didn't pick up their child. They didn't come and pick them up. They left them there, and now you can hold the parents in contempt for child neglect. You can charge them for child neglect or whatever. But just that first incident, I think it's a $25 fine. Let the parents show up, take a picture of the parents, get the parents' information, copy of their driver's license, and the next one is supposed to be $50. But utilize these empty schools. Utilize property that the city already owns. We can't arrest them, so you're not going to arrest them. You just need to detain them and get in touch with the parents. I know the higher-ups are trying to work this thing out, but utilize these empty school buildings, all right? We'll be right back after this commercial. We got a whole lot more hot topics tonight, y'all, because I got this sign, and we're going to talk about this, because this is relating to all this crime. You've seen this before. We're going to talk about this when we get back. Black Lives Matter. Why are we still killing each other? We'll be right back after this commercial.
Are you dreaming of becoming an entrepreneur, but you're not sure where or how to start? At Entrepreneurs Academy 101, our online program will guide you step by step on how to start and grow your own business.
Hello?
We offer courses such as how to write a business plan, how to create a budget, and so much more. Our online training program is designed for you to learn at your own pace, and there's no set order to complete this program. Because our academy is online, you have the choice to learn with a group, with friends, or individually. Upon completion of the entire curriculum, you will receive a certificate of achievement to acknowledge that you have completed the training needed to become a successful entrepreneur. So enroll today to design the life that you love. Contact your entrepreneur coach, Brenda Myers, at 601-672-0695 or visit our website at www.entrepreneursacademy101.com for more information.
The Mississippi Link is an African-American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, Keepers of the Knowledge for People Who Speak the Truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippilink.com and click on Home Delivery.
All right. We are back live in the studio. I appreciate my sponsors, Garrett Enterprise, Mississippi Link. And hey, if you're an entrepreneur, please contact that entrepreneur coach. I think you can learn a lot. We all need coaching at some point to get better. So I think we have a caller. Caller, you there?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how's it going, man? Welcome to the Prov'em Wrong Show. You are live on the air. Who am I speaking with?
Oh, my name's Christopher. But Chris will be fine.
Christopher, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much. Just trying to stay out of trouble.
All right. Well, you're on the line with me, so right now you ain't in trouble. What you got for me?
No, I got a quick, question now. With everything that happened, everybody talking about the gun violence in Jackson. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not no big fan of the mayor, but he did try to pass an ordinance, I say a couple years ago, to ban certain guns.
Uh-huh.
And the people who don't stay in Jackson voted it down, right?
Uh-huh.
Or had to make a big deal about it. Well, the Second Amendment people came out and said, we can't do that. The criminals don't care about guns or laws or whatever.
Right.
So now we got all these guns on the street. My thing is, How many gun shops in Jackson owned by black people? None that I know of.
Not that I know of. That's a good point.
How many? I mean, so where are these guns coming from? I mean, they're trying to let all the crime that's happening in Jackson about guns that have been stolen or this and that. Come on, now you ain't gonna sit there and tell me that all the guns in Jackson been stolen.
Right. No, I don't believe all the guns in Jackson been stolen. You're right. We don't have. I don't know of a black-owned gun shop in Jackson. A lot of the guns are being purchased at pawn shops, and then you can get a gun just right off the street in the trunk of somebody's car. So it's not hard to get a gun in the city of Jackson. That's one thing. I have a gun that was found on the streets of Jackson. You hear me? On the streets of Jackson. It was a gun, a 38, found on the streets of Jackson. And
see, now that's
broad daylight.
And see, that's why I was having a discussion on a different, blog or Facebook page. Everybody talking about the problem. I said, what's the solution? We know the problem is gun violence the problem. But since people don't want to, don't take my gun away from me, okay, you don't want to do nothing about the guns that's already on the street. How you think you're going to stop the gun violence? But you don't want to mess with your gun. Mm-hmm. But so you don't want us to mess with the gun. Okay, what's the other solution we have then?
Yeah. Even if they pass the ordinance of gun, it's so many out there now. I look at guns. I'm a gun owner, and a gun is a tool. All right, a weapon is a tool, and that gun not gonna bother anybody unless somebody picks it up and pulls the trigger. Pick it up, load it, and pull the trigger. So it's not the gun itself; it's the mentality of the person who's in possession of the gun. You see, a gun is like a hammer. And so that's my next point. Yeah.
Now, we as people in communities like Jackson, we can't settle our disagreements without violence. The government can sign the bill you want to talk about teaching people school or not teaching them. That's not going to fit us in our hood. Mm-hmm. Because what are they? I mean, our schools are getting so bad these days. Why are they really teaching our kids anyway about our history? If we waiting on the Mississippi to teach our kids about our history, we're already messing up.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. See, our history.
So I think
our history used to be taught by our grandparents and great grandparents, those who were there. History was typically taught early back then by those who lived through it, right? And so now you have this dynamic where parents are 15 years older than their children. So they're not having much history going on or being taught much history at home even before they get to school. Now we have teachers in the schools who are told, well, don't teach the true black history. Look how many years because it's Black History Month, I'm glad the caller brought this up. Look how many years we heard of the same people over and over again. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, Jesse Jackson, Jesse Owens, Mama Ali, Harry Belafonte, when you get to the entertainment industry. And then it stopped, but for years we kept hearing the same people. And so after a while, in their contributions, and great contributions, we stand on the shoulders of those folks. But guess what? History continues. And so if you just stop right there, the folks, these young people, they get numb to that, and here we go again. But we're not teaching our young folks that history continues. And now how can you contribute to make history like I talked about earlier? Now, this generation will be talked about in the history books as well, because history's still being written. And so, but what is it going to say about this generation? What is it going to say about these parents? When I look at old black pictures of families that were together, father, mother, children, going to church, going to black church, father, mother, children, going on family vacations, father, mother, children, visiting grandparents' house, father and sons, fishing, mothers sitting doing their daughter's hair. This generation history, those same pictures will look a lot different. You know, mother putting on a lace front, daughter hair nappy. Mama putting on fake eyelashes, daughter trying to do the same thing. Mama fake booty, daughter can't wait to get a fake booty. I mean, come on, I'm talking about our people. I'm talking about us. And so correct me if I'm wrong. Call in 1-800-492-5186. I appreciate Chris calling in and bringing this up. But again, a gun is like a hammer. A gun is like a shovel. I can kill somebody with a shovel, but I can also scrape up some mud, dig a hole, fix the road, or whatever I do with that shovel, and that shovel is not going to do it by itself. I go in my shed, I pull my shovel out when I need to use it, and I use it in the right way. I have guns. I use my guns for what they're intended for. Hunting, home protection. All right? And so our young folk, to say that a valid point, nope, we don't have any black gun shops, no black gun owners. We have a lot of pawn shops that's selling guns. We got jokers that's bringing guns in over here on private planes, cars, I-20, I-55, however they getting to Jackson, they getting here. But we also have parents who know your children have guns in the house. We also have irresponsible parents who have weapons and that their children can easily get to. They're not locked up. You know, you hadn't had that conversation with your children about your gun. Your gun is to protect your home. It is not for your child to play with. They shouldn't even know where you keep it. Unless they get to a certain age and now they're responsible, you going out and you say, hey, this is, call 911, let nobody in this house. But again, we're not having those conversations, so it goes back once again to parenting. It goes back to that. You know, this parent is on trial because her son took the gun, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the parents bought that gun for that child. But that's, you know what? That happens in the white community. White parents buy them guns when they get to a certain age. They know how to clean them. They go hunting with their parents. But when they get cuckoo, they still got access to these guns, and they go out and they shoot up the school. For the most part, in our communities, these young people are getting access to weapons. They're not going shooting up the school. They don't have conflict resolution skills because they're not teaching conflict resolution in school. In our schools, they're teaching the state exam. They're teaching these young folks how to pass the state exam so the teacher can keep their job, so the school can keep their accreditation. But the conflict resolution skills, critical thinking skills, preparing our young folks for the future, I don't see it happening a whole lot in JPS. And so we're getting that kind of stuff. We got another caller. Are you there, caller?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I was calling to coincide with the previous caller.
Yes.
Personally, I've gone to a gun show and I've seen a known convicted felon just buy a gun and walk out of there with no background check or anything.
Yep.
And I highly agree with you on it's not about the gun, it's the person with the gun.
Right.
And then also we got to add this too. We got to add in the judicial system that we have here in the city and in the county that basically give these people a slap on the wrist.
Yep, you're right about that as well. There has to be some kind of accountability.
I had a conversation with an elder, and they was like, "You want to just lock everybody up?" And I'm like, "No, it's just like raising a child. If you let him keep getting away with stuff, he's not going to stop doing that."
That's right. There has to be some consequences to your action.
Exactly. That's all I wanted to say, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you calling in, man. Keep listening. Thank you. And my caller is
right.
exactly right. There has to be some consequences to the action. You know, if you let your child get away from stuff, I see parents letting their children talk back to them in the store. My mother used to say, wherever you act a fool, I'm act a fool with you. I was taught that at the house. So I knew because my mother kept her promises, I could trust what she said. When you get home, I'm gonna whoop your ass when you get home. I may get home, she may get busy cooking dinner, an hour go by, 2 hours, I think she forgot. You know, I done took my bath, I'm in bed, ready to go to bed, and she come in and cut that light on. Oh, you thought I forgot? Turn your ass over. I told you I was gonna get you when you get home. Now the wait, after a while, I got that whooping. I kept doing, I got better, thought about it for a little while because it hurt. But then I find myself doing the same thing. And so, but what was worse than the whooping after a while was the wait. The wait. I got to the point where I was like, can you whoop me now? Because just that anticipation, the weight of the consequences to my action, that weight, oh man, I hated that weight. Guess what? Even as an adult, even as an adult, with my supervisor on my job say, I need to talk to you, I want to talk to me now. Because waiting for me, it was traumatizing. No, if I did something wrong, I need you to talk to me now. I don't need to wait the next week. I don't want to ponder in my mind what it is you need to talk to me about. And so we don't have enough. Our parents are not all parents. Trust me, don't get me wrong. Not all parents. But we need to hold some parenting classes, churches. If you have members in your church, all churches, man, stop all this singing. Stop all this praising and worship. God understands if you love him by your actions. What are you doing to disciple your congregation? You got folks in your church that need parenting classes. You got some old mothers in the church. They role ain't just to tell the girls to pull their skirt down. Let them old mothers and them grandmothers hold some parenting classes to these single moms. Let empower your men to have some discipleship, mentorship, whatever you want to call it, classes with your young men. You know, it's good to worship the Lord. It's good to praise God. Man, I was spend some good time praying in my yard today. You know, while I was burning my burn pile because the burn ban is over. But I spent some quality time playing with my dog and burning that burn pile because it needed to be burned. And I spent a lot of time praying at the same time. I ain't got to wait to church to do that. We got another caller. Come on, caller. Talk to me.
Hey, Mr. Gordon. It's Tim. How you doing this evening?
I'm good, Tim. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. I was going to say that comment, but, you're right about that because, like you said, you used to get away from your mom. I used to get away from my grandmother and my mom way back I was a kid. I was at the food at the time. My grandma told me she whooped me up because I was being bad at school. So then my mom whooped me and I was being bad at school. I was just explaining my teacher. I remember those days, guess what? They love me because, it took to go and teach my lesson. Don't do anything wrong. Mm-hmm. And I learned my lesson. I get a whooping, punishment and stuff. You gotta face the consequences because I had a good experience myself because parents, you talk to your children. Tell them, don't do right decision. They go to school, get education. Not make wrong bad decision. I don't want to make comments for that. Parents, be there for your children. Raise them.
Yeah, raise your children, parents. Rear them, train them up in the way that they should go, and when they get old, they won't depart from it. Now that's scripture. That's scripture. I appreciate you calling, Tim.
All
right. Talk to you later. Listen. I appreciate all the callers tonight because, man, y'all feeding the program when you call in. Tell your neighbors, tell your cousins, tell the guy that was in the cell next to you, if you just got released, they need to tune into the Prov'em Wrong show. But we had parents, pastors. Parents need your help. They need your help. We need to, and I need to get back to this gun thing because just like that parent is on trial, and these youth and this curfew about to kick in, they gonna put some teeth to it. I hope they utilize these abandoned schools as a holding centers until parents come pick their children up. But if a child gets picked up for curfew violation and they're in possession of a weapon, I know we have a open carry law in Mississippi, but I believe that open carry, you have to be a certain age. I do believe you have to be an adult. I do believe you have to be 18 or 21 or something like that. But if you are under that legal age to possess a weapon, that child needs to be arrested. That ain't no $25 violation. If a child is in possession of a weapon, arrest them. Now, how long you will hold them, that depends. Have a conversation. Take the weapon. Find out where they got it from, if they're going to be honest. But then bring that parent in the conversation. Did you know your child had a weapon? If a child is underage in possession of a weapon, parent at some point has to be held accountable for that. If not, we're gonna have what we're getting in the other communities. We're gonna have more and more young folks killing each other, and eventually that thing gonna go to the school. All right, and so we have to start holding parents accountable. Number 5 on my list. Listen, shout out to Prov'em White. She's been on our program before. She has a homeless center, Reach Foundation, the Reach Center over by Battlefield Park. It is. I saw her the other day, and she is full, no beds. And right now, and she has a yellow house for expecting mothers, homeless expecting mothers or homeless moms. And so Prov'em White is doing her thing. She's one woman, but she's on a mission. But now I see she's trying to bring in this new homeless village, tiny house village. And I'm not opposed to that one bit. But I do think our government and our folks need, as they put that together, we're going to need some teen group homes, because when they start arresting these parents for child neglect, what are we going to do with the children who are going to need a place to stay? And so we need to start thinking about that. We need to start funding that. You know, I thought it was interesting. Again, we're going to have all these empty JPS buildings. Let's turn them into group homes. One for guys only, one for girls only. We're going to have enough of them. But that's another way to educate our young people who are caught up. They're not criminals yet. You know, one thing we learned in the clergy training academy was there's a difference between lawbreakers and criminals. And our police department, because they're undermanned and they're short-staffed and they're dealing with a lot of serious crimes, they're only going after criminals right now, y'all. Lawbreakers, that's why we're still seeing folks running red lights, going around cars to go through red lights, riding four-wheelers on the street, mini bikes on the street, off-road vehicles on the street, because those are lawbreakers. They're not criminals. They're not, but if they riding on a wheelie, on a four-wheeler and run into somebody, and then now there's an accident, now there's a death involved, that's vehicular homicide. Or that's manslaughter, accidental manslaughter. So now you're getting into some serious time. And so, again, that goes, I really believe that goes back to parenting. Now, I know young folks want to have fun. They're looking for somewhere to have fun. I was doing a ride along on Friday. Shout out to Officer Blue, my patrol officer I rode with, not Blue, but Officer Gallion, Corporal Gallion. Shout out to Corporal Gallion. And we were on I-55 on the way to one call, and 3 motorcycles put on the side of us on I-55 and pop wheelies, doing 80 miles an hour, took off on one wheel. 2 of them on one wheel, the other one hadn't got his up yet. They look over at us. You know why? They know we can't chase them. They know the police can't chase them. And so, but they, you know what? That's fun. That's fun stuff. It's dangerous, it's illegal, but it's fun. And so I'm gonna be real. I'm real with teenagers. Sin is fun, but sin will cost you your life. Sin could cost you eternal life, you know. But it's gonna cost you something. We have to have those real conversations with young people. We just can't tell them don't smoke weed. It's illegal, and they know. I already know it's illegal. Tell them how you used to smoke weed, you know. Tell them it's not a recreation. We are not a recreational state, so it's against the law. It will cost you your license. It could cost you job opportunities. You know, we had one of the presenters was with the FBI, and the FBI hires regular, normal people, right? And this sister grew up in the addition. She JPS graduate, now works for the FBI on a big scale, right? And she talked about all the job opportunities working for the FBI, not just an arresting field officer. They have mechanics that work. They have their own mechanics. They have their own doctors, their own dentists. They have their own. The FBI is just like the military. A lot of people don't know that. But she said the number one reason why young folks, college students, and young adults is because they can't pass the drug test. They don't want to give up the weed. You're talking about a career. We ain't talking about a job. We're talking about a career working for the government with benefits. But you rather smoke weed and get high than think about your future. So, back to my sign. My producer say he want to show this sign again. This is it, y'all. This used to be the billboard on Bailey Avenue. And it was all over the city. And it's still relevant. I heard Rob Jace talk about it this morning. If Black Lives Matter, why we still killing each other? Now you see at the bottom PEW. So this is what got me started with Prov'em Wrong. I had these billboards all over the city. So this is one of the yard signs that I had made, and the yard sign turned into billboards. I'm thinking we may have to put these back up. If Black Lives Matter, why are we still killing each other? Push that, y'all. I may have to go ahead and fund that again and do something. I don't know, but we have to do something different. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, is the definition of insanity. So I appreciate my callers that called in on the night. This has been a boom, 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 boom show. This has been the Prov'em Wrong show. It is now 7:43. Unless I got another caller within the next 1 minute, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. All right, so listen. I appreciate you tuning in. Continue to tune in. On next week, we'll have a guest, I do believe, but the next show is about to start real soon, y'all. So keep it tuned in right here to We Believe TV. God bless you, and we'll see you next week. Prove 'em wrong, y'all.